It's well established that communities of color and low-income communities face disproportionate harm from climate change and environmental contamination. And as Ellen pointed out so eloquently, that is no different for coal country. In my district in Northeastern Pennsylvania, these same communities have been especially vulnerable to COVID-19. My fellow Democratic colleagues and I have continued to fight for additional funds to address the needs of these communities throughout the pandemic. But our fight for environmental justice didn't just start with the pandemic and certainly will not end with it. We have seen the harms caused by environmental injustice for decades in my home state. Scattered throughout Northeastern Pennsylvania are the very abandoned coal mines that Congressman Lowenthal was talking about. They remind us of the days when coal was king of our domestic energy production. Scranton, Pennsylvania used to be the Houston, Texas of America. And what has been left behind are abandoned mine lands. These days, these abandoned mine lands pose significant health and environmental hazards, including acid mine drainage. You know, you fly over parts of my district, you can see the orange plumes in the water. And you know that these are oxidized metals coming out of abandoned mines and into the water courses. These impacts affect people's health, their daily lives. They hold back economic development in these communities. And again, one of the great bipartisan success stories here is the creation of the Abandoned Mine Lands Trust Fund. It's a fund that collects fees paid by present-day operating mining companies, which local communities use to reclaim and repurpose abandoned mines. It spurs long-term, locally driven economic development opportunities. More than 800,000 acres of damaged land and water have been restored since the creation of this program. But our work is far from over, and unfortunately, the AML fund is set to expire in September of 2021. That's why we have this bill that would reauthorize the fund for an additional 15 years. It was passed by the House in July, but was not received well in the Senate. It hasn't received any Senate consideration at all. So I'm thankful for Chairman Grijalva's longstanding leadership on this issue, and I'm so glad that the virtual Environmental Justice Now tour has come to the Appalachian region. I remain hopeful that Congress can come together and pass bipartisan COVID-19 relief legislation that includes assistance to all Americans, including our environmental justice communities, as well as reauthorizing the AML Trust Fund early next year.